This is Roger Sanchez. Get ready to blast off with Dancing Astronaut TV.
London to Barcelona, move right on to Roma, London to Barcelona, move right on in command. From Ibiza to Roma, worldwide on in command. From Ibiza to Roma, worldwide on in command. From Ibiza to Roma, London to Barcelona, worldwide on in command. From Ibiza to Roma, London to Barcelona, worldwide on in command. From Ibiza to Roma, London to Barcelona, worldwide on in command. From Ibiza to Roma, London to Barcelona, worldwide all in command.
I'm Roger Sanchez. I am a DJ that plays house music, produces it, loves it, breathes it, lives it. And it was amazing tonight. I think that the energy of the crowd was just unbelievable. It's funny, especially coming after our side trance set. It was a little bit of a thought about how was I going to start and transition between the two, but the crowd were there from the very first track all the way through the set. They were going for it. I loved it. Well, the interesting thing is doing EDC, and I've done it before in Los Angeles, but doing it here in Vegas, I feel like the crowd that's come out tonight has been really 100% going for it. You gotta really want to have fun if you're gonna come out to the middle of the desert to have a party, so I think they were ready for it. I think the last time I felt that dance music was really on a crest of a wave was somewhere around 2000, 2001. I was doing a lot of work and a lot of productions and a lot of remixes. I actually had a record which went #1 in Europe. And it was primarily in Europe that the phenomena was really, really happening. This time around, it's happening here in the United States, and it's really globalized. So it's interesting to see how it's transitioned from what was maybe like 10 years ago to seeing exactly the dominance that it's having on the music scene now. Very interesting how pop music is mining the classics from the house music era of the 90s and bringing it to a very current, different audience. A lot of R&B artists, rappers, pop artists are just really mining the electronic sound, so you know it's really crossed different barriers. The good side of it is it exposes it to a broader audience. The downside of it is, of course, it changes the initial impact that the original had. But I don't think in the long run that actually outweighs the benefits of it. So as long as it's done respectfully, I'm pretty positive about it. This year, my Release Stuff event is always kind of one of my top events to do. I actually had a lot of fun doing the Ultra Music Festival this year because it's very similar to EDC. It's a very different type of crowd than what I normally play for. Release Stuff was amazing. The party that I did, the stealth event that I did in conjunction with Fedde Le Grand really, really went off. Each of them had a different crowd, and we even had a really cool, kind of sexy lounge type of party at Setai, which was a very adult type of crowd for a totally different vibe. Probably Release Yourself because it's so personal. It's my night, and it was amazing for me. I'll tell you, one of the biggest tracks this year in Miami was Hello from Martin Solveig. That was really, really massive. I think that's the one you heard everywhere. Well, one of the big things that's very different and that's new is we've actually moved Stealth Records here to the United States, and I'm getting ready to relaunch label and the new logos and everything updated. We've been working with artists like Chris Moody, Lex DeFunk, bringing up people like Proc and Fitch, Mosaic. There's a lot of really hot talent that's starting to come through. Plus, I've been doing, incorporating different types of producers and remixers, people like Adrian Lux, Sidney Sampson. There's a lot of electronic flavors, and then at the same time, I'm also kind of branching into the more tech vibe. It's interesting because I think people follow labels because they become enamored of a label's sound. So they do follow it, I think, as much as they used to. I think that DJs become tastemakers, and a lot of us have our own labels. That kind of dictates the sensibilities of what we're going to be releasing, and people recognize that, and so they kind of go for that. So yeah, I do think that it still has an impact. I had done a track a long time ago with MC Flipside where I had these vocals that I just hadn't had a chance to use them properly, and of all the lyrics that he did, the lyric of from Ibiza to Rome, London to Barcelona really resonated with me because that's the story of my life. I'm all over the place. I'm constantly worldwide. And when I started the track in Australia, I took it back to the US and I completed working on it. I put in the vocals from Flipside, and then it just meshed. It felt perfect. I think one of the most interesting things is when you're working on something new, it's kind of hard sometimes to get started. Halfway through, it's a lot easier sometimes to find your way, but that initial idea can be a little hard to come by. Sometimes the best thing to do is listen to a lot of different things you love and allow it to flow. Always be open-minded musically and allow different influences to kind of seep in. It'll give you a lot of creative impetus. It's basically slow down house music.
It's slow down house music, yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. You see how cycles happen. And to me, it's hilarious because I went back and referenced, and I did a classic set not that long ago, and the original tempo of house music when it first started coming out with things like Mr. Fingers and stuff like that was like 110, 115, 118. And they sound so slow now compared to a lot more driving house. But it's interesting how it's cycled back. Techno has gone to the tech side, which is deep house. Now, slowed down original tempo house is called Moombahton, which is hilarious. Where do people play this, though? It sounds loungy to me. Usually the energy level tends to be a lot higher for kind of like the kind of hipster party, and it's a lot more aggressive. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to work. Like I can understand the energy behind dubstep because it is drum and bass. I have basically without the double speed. Now, would I produce something like that? You never know.